Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Hangs, the interview segment of HelloooTV. My name is Jeff Berman. I'm with HelloooTV, and just momentarily, I'm going to be bringing in Mr. Brent Smith and Mr. Zach Myers from Shinedown. But for our purposes tonight, we know them as Smith and Myers for an interview before their concert tonight. Now, this is very important. The concert tonight airs at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. for all of our friends in Nashville, 7 p.m. for all of you Mountain Time Zone people, and for our friends and our brothers and sisters on the West Coast at 6 p.m. Now, before we get to them, I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, AEH Accounting, NooWave, Spartan, Brews, Coffee Company. We're so happy to have you. And last but not least, our booze and our friends at Audio-Technica USA, who have been down since day one with HelloooTV. Now, without much further ado, we have Zach and Brent. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing
good, man. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
This Off camera, we were just saying he's got a good personality.
You're saying you have a good personality for this.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment.
You should quit your day job and do this.
This is my day job. I'm normally a touring musician, but
don't quit your day job.
Oh, don't quit your day job.
Oh, no, okay. That's what I mean. You said this is already your day job. So I was like, well, then don't quit because you're good at this.
Oh, I got you. Well, I like the yin and the yang, and this is a good way to still be in front of a microphone.
That's true.
But you are the first artist that I've spoken to on this Hello Hang segment that has been on tour. So how is the tour going, and what has it been like to tour in the United States during this pandemic?
We're on tour-ish. We were playing shows. We were on we were doing weekends, and we were doing all drive-in theater. So it was like you would pull up and drive your car in, and if you had blankets, you could get out of your car and hang, and you had your own little space that was usually about 10 feet wide, so you could get out and sit in front of it. It's been really fun, man. It's different. It's not the way you would play a show that if you really wanted to, but we're having a bunch of fun with it. And I'll be honest, man, I think I don't know if I'd want to see a rock band do this, like full blast rock and roll band, but I think these auxiliary venues will stay up after we are back to normal, back to touring. Because I can see myself driving up to a thing and watching James Taylor or something. That'd be sick, man. Watch that, that kind of show. So I think these venues kind of will stick around even after the fact, which is a good thing. But we're having fun, man. It's a different way to tour, but it's you're out there with people and you're playing your songs, and I think the most important takeaway is that people are having fun and they're outside of their houses.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing too is we've done what did we do? 9 or 10?
9 or 10.
Yeah. We started in Philadelphia. That's when we did the very first one, and that was quite large. That was like 700 cars. It's about 4 people per car.
Sure.
But cars, it takes up a lot of space. So you have to have a lot of land, or you have to have a pretty large area. I got to say this too. Every single city, county, state, you have to go through, not that the priority wasn't the safety of the audience before COVID-19, because it always is.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that going behind the scenes to pull this off is not as easy as you would think. There's a lot of components to it, because the safety of the patrons and the fan base is the priority. And I mean, when we were in Philly, we started there. Very rarely does an artist and an audience get to experience something together for the very first time. So a drive-in show, and like Zach was saying, I mean, we did Scranton, Pennsylvania, Butler. We just did Atlanta,
Chicago, Columbus, Memphis.
Yeah.
Where else?
New Hampshire? Were you in New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, yeah.
And Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. But they all went off without a hitch. There were no issues, and like Zach said,
no cases.
Yeah, no cases.
That's great.
But Zach did make a good point. Seeing a band that is known for a visual aspects of what they do, us being one of those bands in regards to Shinedown, there's a lot of production, there's a lot of people involved. We were able to bring 4 crew members. Our normal core crew when we're out with Shinedown is about 35 people.
Right.
So the overhead, it's impossible to even break even. You're probably going to lose money. And I think that if you were to ask people also, they want to get back to being around one another. The vast majority, I mean, 86% of Live Nation ticket holders had the option this year to either get a full refund for shows that will be rescheduled next year, or you can hold your ticket. And when the shows happen next year, those tickets will be honored. 86% of those people held on to their tickets. So, I mean, that kind of gives you a gauge that people want to be around one another again. And obviously people want to go and see live music.
Yeah, it's a vestige of hope and like a glimmer of future connectivity of sorts.
Yeah.
But you
It's
guys are
just
also
the way
not
we could do it, so we could do it. It's a little easier with just me and him.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. You're not presenting Shinedown, but
No.
stripped down. I mean, it's a different brand. It's a different moniker. Obviously, it's under the greater Shinedown umbrella. But can you speak a little bit to the dynamic of being stripped down musically, hopefully not physically, but musically on stage to a really expansive area that's cars? I mean, there's so much about it that's different than a typical Shinedown concert, whether it be, you know, in an amphitheater or in a small venue, all the same. What has that been like, just performing these songs in this stripped down manner in front of cars?
It takes it's the audience, the crowd participation.
I don't think the performance side changes.
No, the performance side doesn't change, other than the crowd. There's a learning curve with the crowd participation, right? Like, you got to realize what you can and can't do. Like, normally a Smith and Myers show is, you know, he really only has to sing 70. Anytime he feels like it, he can put the mic out to the crowd at a normal show pre-COVID, and the crowd is singing louder than he is. So it's that side changes. But I mean, the performance side for us is like, you know, we try to be ourselves. And the thing about Smith and Myers is every show is completely different than the other. You know, we're not going on stage and saying the same things. We're not playing the same songs. I mean,
no.
I mean, last night I think
that's part of it too, is that it's not scripted.
I think last night we played 7 songs that we had played the night before out of a 19-song set. You know, I mean, we're changing it up. You know, I think we have right now in the set, I think we have 7 or 8 musts, and then other than that, the set list changes every night. So I think that side, you know, the performance isn't changing. We're always going to be ourselves. We're always going to get up there and play our hearts out, because it's very enjoyable to get on stage. And
you also have to be ready for curveballs. The last 2 shows that we just did in Memphis, we were 3 songs in. We had just done 3 songs. We were in the middle of the 3rd song, and all the power went out.
Not the sound,
the lighting,
everything
went out. The audio, the lighting,
show
pitch black for about 15 minutes, and it popped back up. So you have to kind of be able to kind of get everybody. You know, everybody was already like excited. And all of a sudden, you have this out of nowhere.
You bring them down.
But you have to understand too, like, that stuff happens, and these are. You know, it was the first show that they had done in Memphis as that. So God bless them, man. Like,
yeah, it's a new venture for everybody.
Yeah, they got it back up and running within 15 minutes. And then me and Zach just kind of know how to take it from there. But then when we played Atlanta, we walked on stage. And once again, I had said the night before, I said, let's just open up with Simple Man.
That's a joke.
You know, I was like, let's just start the set with Simple Man. Literally, we walk up there and the cabling on his guitar was crackling and popping. None of that was happening during sound check. So started it again. He would move, crackling again.
The guitar would just cut out.
Yeah, tried it one more time. Well, the 3rd time, our boy Zach Mack came in with a different cable, and they read it. But literally, at the beginning of our last show, I mean, there was like 5 minutes just to get a cable that worked so we could just start the show.
I started Simple Man 4 times.
But I think people can see past that, because they're just so wanting to be kind of.
No, it keeps you on your toes.
Flesh and blood moments. Yeah.
What you do though too is that the point of the Smith and Myers show is everything can be a bit, right? Like, so like if something like that happens, you turn it into a bigger moment. You make it funny. You joke about it. Like, you don't just go, oh, okay. You don't get frustrated and act like there's a technical. Like, you make it a part of the show. That's what Smith and Myers is. You know, there's things that happen, like, you know, last night, for instance, we're doing In the Air Tonight, which we've done a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. He has an iPad with the lyrics to the covers right there. He's looking at the iPad and still just completely saying the wrong thing. But the thing about it is, when Shinedown has a show, you know, if I have a technical difficulty, I'll get frustrated, or I've gotten better about it as I get older. But with Smith and Myers is like, dude, you just laugh it off, man. You have fun with it, and you make fun of each other on the microphone about it specifically. And that's kind of, you know, I think it gives people a different side of us. With Shinedown, it's like, you know, he's kind of the general, right? Like, he's like this commander-in-chief guy up there, and he's making people feel like very empowered and do what they do. But with this, it's like, let's pull the curtain back slightly and kind of show them who we are off stage a little bit. And that's kind of what the on stage persona of Smith and Myers is.
It doesn't have to be so intense all the time.
Yeah.
The other side of it too is 50% of the show is original material, and 50% of the show is from other artists. That's part of it. That's why it was important with these 2 volumes. Instead of just doing 1 record, we decided to do 2. But that was also because we were writing original material for the first time in this project. The original way that we had it laid out was it was just covers that fans helped us pick. And really the very first installment of it, I thought that was going to be it. And, it would be something for the fans. And then that was all. And then we just kind of kept going. And here we are with 2
Yeah, I
volumes.
wanted to ask, I think it was 2014 was the last time you released music, all covers, under the moniker Smith and Myers.
Yep.
And it's been documented that you started recording these records before the pandemic hit.
February.
But why now? I mean, what was the impetus behind doing this in 2020?
We were always going to do it. I mean, before this, we were on stage, I believe, in January.
My impromptu announcement
of 2019.
Yeah.
Brent, I've said it before in interviews, but Brent does this thing to where he'll say something to put it out in the atmosphere that no one's discussed yet. But it's like, you know what? It's like when you say, like, I'm gonna climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I've already planned it. It's done. Like, it's not planned. It's not done. But you say it because then you're held accountable. So we're on stage. We had 2 or 3 sold out nights at Starland Ballroom in New Jersey, and we're on stage. And I kind of vamp between songs while he's talking. I mean, you're a musician. I'll just kind of play. And then he goes, a lot of people keep asking us when we're going to go make a new Smith & Myers record. I want to let you guys know later this year or early next year, we're going to go make a double album. And you just kind of see, like, the record stop. Like, I'm just like, this has never been discussed ever. And then on stage in front of 2,500 people, it's just like, all right, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
And speaking of turning this stuff into a bit, I just had the sunlight come out for the first time all day today, so I'm washed out. So we're going to turn this into a bit right now. I'm going to
love the
shut my
fact that
blinds.
you have changed colors.
All I can see is your glasses right now. It's pretty great.
I mean, he literally vanished.
Also, like the black and blue checker.
That would be translucent, right?
Yeah, you're translucent.
You're translucent, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kid, now it's moody.
Now it's moody.
Now it's very moody.
Ooh. See,
no business like show business. Now
it's moody.
Yeah.
Moody.
Now it's very moody. Sorry to interrupt. Well, I wanted to ask, how did you guys choose the songs that ended up on these records? A lot of the fans that we had asked them to post questions today, they wanted to know how you landed on the covers that you chose. But you guys as Shinedown have such a huge fucking catalog of great songs. How did you pull from your own catalog, from the greater catalog of songs that you love, and also presenting new material?
That was something where we tried to just do things that were, at least in my opinion, it was all killer and no filler, but some of it was what I was into. Some of it was what Zach was into. We took suggestions this time around from the fan base, but we didn't like live and die by that. Like, it still kind of came from me and Zach. And also our producer, Dave Bassett, had a big part of it as well, kind of choosing when you're talking about the cover material.
He's the tiebreaker with the cover material. I mean, I think, Brent and I had at least 3 each that we really wanted to do. And then there was some kind of wild cards in there too. I know he wasn't super sure about Valerie, just as I wasn't super sure about Better Now or Bad Guy, just because I had heard Better Now, the Post Malone song. I really wasn't up on Billie Eilish. I knew who she was. I loved her character. Like, I love what she stood for. I love that she was a young artist. I love that she they made a record that streamed 1 billion times in her parents' house with her brother. Like, but I wasn't up on the record. Like, I wasn't a current listen for me. So when he brought that up, and we ended up doing it, turned out really cool. But, there's definitely some songs that we wanted to do. Brent and I both wanted to do Rebel Yeah. We both wanted to do Rockin' in the Free World. We both wanted to do Losing My Religion. So,
yeah. And
then the other stuff, we just kind of took a lot of fan suggestions too. And he wanted to do Unchained Melody. But with Unchained Melody, you got to understand, with 2 kids from Tennessee, when you do a cover, you try to do your own version of it, right? There's not much of a different version of Unchained Melody you can do. And there's already 2 covers of it. And So between the three, you have the three best versions of this. You're not going to beat the Righteous Brothers. You're not going to beat Elvis. So you're not going to beat Otis Redding.
You
so
have to present it in a different way.
So what do?
Yeah.
You just do it as true to form as you can. The other ones we were like, let's change this up. And it's like, with this one we did, and it's like, it's on the video that will be coming out of it, but I missed it the first two times I watched it. But at the end of the video, you kind of hear me say something where I'm like, all right, I think we got this. Let's kind of like, because he wanted to do it, and I was like, man, this is one of those ones that if you mess this up, people will call for your death publicly, I believe. I think that's
well, I mean, I sing Simple Man by Leonard Skinner every night. So I just I did it for my parents.
Yeah, his mom and dad love the song.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing, we haven't played it live yet, honestly, and this isn't like a boisterous statement. Like, we haven't played it live yet for fear of it like becoming another Simple Man. Like, I think it's one of those things, we'll play it, and when you hear it, if you're there, you heard it, and then, I don't know, it may become a regular thing. We'll see. We haven't discussed it.
Yeah, sure. And these records, Volume 1 and Volume 2, are both out. Volume 2 came out today.
Yeah.
And again, for those just tuning in, this is me, Jeff Berman at HelloooTV, most importantly with my guests, Brent Smith and Zach Myers from Smith & Myers and Shinedown, who are playing as Smith & Myers tonight on HelloooTV at 9 p.m. Ahead of the release of these records, you guys released a single in May, I believe, Atlas Falls, and you put a lot of work into making this about the moment, even though the song was an older song. You were working with a nonprofit called Direct Relief, where you raised...
Still working with them.
Yeah, I believe the amount of money that you raised with them is now known as a fuck ton of money. So I know you guys... You don't do it about the adulation, but you deserve a round of applause for all of the good work that you guys did.
Honestly, the applause, if it's going to go to anybody, it should go to Shinedown Nation.
Exactly.
From a global standpoint, because they're the ones that help support us and help support Direct Relief. I mean, we're approaching the $550,000 mark, So, and for people that don't know, I won't be long-winded, like Direct Relief, these men and women are the Calvary. Doesn't matter any kind of crisis situation. They work with all 50 states. They work with over 100 countries. Their goal is to make sure that they give the men and women in the medical and the scientific community, those professionals, the resources they need during times of crisis to save people's lives. Yeah. I can guarantee you that they will have a presence in the future, probably for a very long time, at future Shinedown shows, because that's another thing too, with when you enter back into doing live events where people can be in one area in large groups, you're going to need some encouragement. You're also going to need some reassurance. So having the privilege to work with these men and women and to be able to have access to some of the brightest minds in the science world right now and the medical world is going to be beneficial for the live music industry, because I'm going to tell you right now, we are the ones that are going to have to tell Washington and tell certain people, like, hey, listen, it can be done. We understand we're in the middle of a health crisis. We get that, but you can't keep it like this forever. And the virus, it's a virus, man. You can't eradicate it. You got to either become immune to it or you're inoculated. You get vaccinated. I think we're a ways off. But I don't want to say that it's in the far, far future of people being able to return to live events, but we're going to have to be really, really specific and really clever and really smart with how we are able to kind of redefine going to a show in the future, because we're going to have to be able to show Washington, hey, it can be done. This is how we need to do it. Yeah.
And Direct Relief will play a big part in making sure that there's safety measures and safety protocol and what the new normal will be as we go to that. But to your point, I did want to kind of put over your fans, because my observation of Shinedown, and now that we've been working with you as Smith & Myers, and we can't thank you enough for all that you've done to come on HelloooTV. We're very happy to have you tonight.
Thanks for having us, man. We were stoked to do it.
Yeah. Your fan base is a fervent fan base. They are very enthusiastic and they are very passionate. So much so that I think it truly sets your band and your general brands apart from a lot of your contemporaries. Not that they're not popular and not that they don't have fans that love them and care for them and want to do what they do. But I'd like you to kind of speak to a little bit about why you think your fan base is so tremendously dedicated and so tremendously enthusiastic about all the endeavors that you guys do, whether it's within the world of music or it's in the world of coffee companies, whatever it is, charity. Everyone that loves your band always has your back, and I think that really separates you from your peers. Can you guys speak a little bit to that?
On the same level as them. You don't talk down to them. You don't treat them like they're a fan. You treat them as like you. We always say our fans are our family, and Brent always says we only have one boss, and that's the audience. And I think that the honesty part plays a role in it, man. We've never. Eric one time in an interview, this is years ago now, but it sticks with me. He's like, we've never written a Jack and Diane, right? We've never written like a story about like. Our lyrics are about us and the things we've been through. I think people relate to, like, Grant, John Mellencamp's one of my favorite artists of all time. But what we're saying is that, we can't really write necessarily story songs about someone else. It's about us. And I think that our meet and greets play a huge role, when we were allowed to do them.
Sure.
We do our meet and greets different than most bands. If you've ever been to Shinedown meet and greet, it's, normally bands, I've seen bands we've toured with run through 150 people in 20 minutes, and it's like picture, shake hands, okay, bye. Like, and that's fine. I think everyone should do what they feel comfortable with. With us, it's like we never do more than 40 people, and it takes about an hour and a half out of our day, 2 hours to do one meet and greet.
Everybody gets an individual band member, and it's not
each person.
Yeah, it's not only a handshake and a hug. It's if they have a story they want to tell you, if there's something about the music that means something to them,
what's going on in their lives, what's going on in our lives. It's very. I think that we've seen a lot of connection with fans from that. So I think that a lot of their dedication comes from that. I think it comes from the honesty part. I think it comes from the treating them with respect and looking them in the eye when we talk to them.
And the quality of everything that we try to present to them. They've given us a platform to be ourselves, and they've allowed us to be ourselves. And we want that for them. We try to empower them as much as we possibly can, but it's unique. I think that Shinedown fans or people that are into this music, whether they've been there from the beginning or whether they're just kind of finding out who we are, they're not renting when it comes to this band. They're buying the whole house.
They're invested.
They're like, they're all in. Yeah. They're not halfway fans. They mean it, man, because they know we're in it for life with them, and so they're in it for life with us.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the lead single. You chose Not Mad Enough, which is the first thing that I heard, at least, from these records. And I read in other interviews that this was kind of written about racial injustice and about the murder of George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you could speak to that. And again, to piggyback off a previous question where you have this great catalog of amazing songs to choose from, if you would have put a popular Shinedown song that was the #1 hit as the lead single, it could have taken it further. Was it important for you to put out a song that was new material as the lead single for this new cycle of Smith and Myers? And was it really significant for you to put out something that was, poetically motivated by what's happening culturally and in our country at the moment?
Well, I have to be very honest about that because in a lot of ways, me and Zach, we really do wish that the song had never been written. Because we wish that George Floyd was still alive and was, and that he was with his family and his daughter. But you have to understand something too. Like, I wrote the song the evening that I watched the rest of the world see a man lose his life on national television in the way that he lost his life.
Sure.
You got to understand something too. We have a community of people that we know that are in law enforcement, very, very respectful individuals. And the reality is that everyone talks about, the one bad apple that spoils the whole bunch. But here's the thing. The song came to me in a flood, like the lyrics and everything, the night that I witnessed what had happened. And, I brought this to our producer Dave and to Zach and said, what do you think? What should we do here? And I think they were in agreement that they said we need to record it. And we kind of started from there. But Zach makes a very, very real point about the song. The song is about right and wrong. is really in its core. And I think right now what you see, what's going on in the world, which is something that's gone on for a very, very long time, and people are hurt, people are angry, people are frustrated, and people want things to change. But the change needs to be something that we all can do together. Because I don't know if you're like me or Zach, we don't respond well when people scream at us. So when you begin the conversation by yelling just to be the loudest person in the room, but you have no real way or nothing constructive of how do we actually move it forward. Sure. What we're trying to represent and what we're trying to tell everybody out there in the world, that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, whether you're younger, whether you're older, the color of your skin, that's irrelevant. You know, your religion, that's your business. It's what makes you an individual. That's what makes you who you are. But we are all people, and we are all part of society, and we are all part of the human race, because it's one race. And inside of that, we want to be a part of real conversations, solid conversations that create real action, that involve moving forward and producing real change, to lift each other up and ask the questions that need to be asked, and then figure out the solutions and what we need to do to find the answers, and then pave those new roads to a brighter future. And I'm not just saying this, like, he knows me really well. I put my money where my mouth is, you know, and I'm with everyone. Me and Zach want to figure out the best way to unite everyone and move forward. Because it's not about one person. You know, a true leader leads from the front. And it's not about followers. It's about that individual or that person giving everybody else around them the encouragement and the confidence that they need to stand shoulder to shoulder and together move forward. Because that's the only way you're going to have a brighter future. It's the only way you're going to have a better future. You have to take into consideration that you're not the only one out here. And if you go out in the real world right now, you take a moment and detach from social media and even the news and go out in the real world, people are not trying to beat each other up.
They care about each other.
They're not trying to hurt one another. They're trying to help each other. They're trying to be good to each other. They're trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's really what the song is about. It's about right and wrong.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to make a point, but you're extending an olive branch at the same time.
Yeah.
One last question, and then I'll let you go. This is actually quite a political question, but it doesn't have anything to do with either of you. My understanding, and Shinedown Nation's understanding, is that the two band members from Shinedown that are not in Smith & Myers, Bass and Kirch, are running for the office of the presidency on the Shinedown ticket.
Yes.
Do we think that they're going to be victorious next Tuesday?
I'll be honest. I was upset that when I went to vote 2 days ago, that they weren't on the Tennessee ballot. So I'm not really sure without the state of Tennessee how they're going to do. But I mean, we've been campaigning this since 2018. We made shirts. We put up posters.
If you're not on the ballot in your home state, I'd say your chances are probably.
Listen, I think their platform is solid. They're a better rhythm section than any candidate. I can vouch for that.
Absolutely.
100%.
And honestly, they're in better shape than any candidate.
That's 100% true.
They're far cooler than any candidate. Kanye West is pretty cool.
Kanye West is pretty cool. Brian Kanye is pretty cool.
Listen,
I'd pick your boys over Ye any day.
I was gonna vote in my home state of Tennessee, but when I saw they weren't on the ballot, I drove across the border to Mississippi and voted for them. So what I think is,
I wanted to vote underwater, but they wouldn't let me.
I think it's going to be a tight race, but I think in the end we'll pull it out and we will create the change that we need, and the world will be a lot more funkier for it. We'll have a better rhythm. That's my personal opinion. This is not the opinion of my partner here or the rest of my band. I'm just speaking politically on my own part, that I think Bass and Kirch should be the front runners of the presidential 2020 election.
Well, they're the dark horse in the 2020 presidential election.
I agree.
And we're going to leave it at that. Mr. Brent Smith.
2024.
Myers. Yes, 2024. There's always 4 years. Thank you both so much for doing this on such short notice. Again,
That's all good.
you're on Hello TV tonight at 9
Yes, we're
p.m.
excited.
Eastern Standard Time. You know the time zones from there. Thank you, gentlemen, both very much, and we look forward to the show tonight.
Much
Thanks a
respect.
lot.
Thanks so much
Appreciate it.
for
All
having
right.
us.
Yeah.
Peace. Thanks, everyone,
Yeah.
for tuning into Hello TV. Be sure to like and subscribe. My name's Jeff. For Brent